Okay, we'll try this again. So good morning, guys. So this is your monthly coaching call with the Mom Recharge membership. And first, I will warn you that I am lacking sleep today. My little guy was up. He said he had to pee like 1 in the morning, and then I was awake for a few hours. And then at 5, he decided he just wanted to be up. So I'm not sure what was going on, but so we'll see how this goes. So I've got a few things I want to share. I didn't get any questions just beforehand, but I occasionally throughout the month will get some questions from moms, and I like getting those questions. So anytime you have any issues, you have any questions, just send it to me, and I should be able to respond back within about 24 hours. Usually within a couple hours I can respond back. So I'm always here for you anytime you have any questions or issues. There was a few different things that I just got thinking, I hope I posted this in the right group. I'm pretty sure I did. A few things that I wanted to talk about today, and I couldn't decide which ones I'm going to talk about. So I've got a couple things I want to talk about. And then I'm also trying to decide on our October focus or October challenge. So as you know, each month we do a different sort of challenge or a different focus, a different topic. So I've got a couple I'm going to ask you about. I am going to talk about one of them today that I know some people are suffering with. And it's something that I suffered with, and instead of leaving you guessing. So bloating and gas is something that we often don't really want to talk about. I remember when I was having issues with it, so just before Ashton was born, and then within her first year, it was so uncomfortable, and I was trying to figure out what's going on. But it's something you don't really want to like go to your doctor's appointment and say like, why do I have so much gas? You just don't ask about it. So if you are suffering from it, you'll understand. If you aren't, you might think that we're crazy, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Usually it seems like most people nowadays have at least some issues with bloating, where it's not normal. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. And if it's something that is a big problem, let's talk about it. You can send me a private message. I know we don't really love talking about it that much in public. Our group is great because it's a group of moms. Right now it's a small group of moms, often suffering with similar stuff. So we can post below in this video, below this video if you want. But feel free to send me a message if you are dealing with bloating and gas and can't seem to figure out what's going on. Then we can dive more into it. So first, I'll talk about what we're going to be talking about in today's coaching call. So first, I'm going to go over some things that we have coming up in the membership, and then a couple other little things. Then we'll dive into the bloating and gas thing, and then we're going to talk about the giveaway. So each month, I should be able to do it every month, as long as I have supplies to give away. I'm going to do a draw I'll show you. So right now I was going to do one or the other supplements, and I thought maybe why don't the winner can choose which one they want. So brand new full-size supplements. So we will draw for that. I didn't get it all set up. I like to do the randomized, I think it's randomname.org, to keep it fair. I didn't get it all set up, so I think right after I will do that, and then I'll post it below who the winner is. Excuse me. So, first with some updates. So I've decided to, with the Mom Recharge membership, I've decided that we're going to incorporate the 7-day cleanse within that. So it used to be, the 7-day cleanse used to be separate. We would run it twice a year. We're still going to run it twice a year, but I decided why not include it in the membership. So I am in the process, probably within the next week, I'm going to be adding, within the next 2 weeks for sure, I'm going to add all of our cleanse stuff, the link to that, into the membership. So you as members will have access to that. I know that some of you, actually probably maybe half of you are members of the 7-day cleanse and have been through that. So not a whole lot will change for you. You will just have access within the membership, so it makes it a little bit easier. what else did I want to say with that? So if you haven't been in the 7-day cleanse, then you can join us in it. So we are going to do our fall cleanse on it's starting Monday, October 22nd. And it's our first Mama Recharged program, and it's our most loved. I need to check and see how many people have gone through it. I'm thinking there's been at least probably about 60 people have gone through it. They've had great results from it. So in 7 days, you can't change your entire life in 7 days, but you can make a huge difference. Like it's crazy what you can see in 7 days. So I like to think of it mostly as a like reset. If you've got some bad habits going on and you want to get on a better track, it's good to take these 7 days and really flip things around. Your taste buds change. You'll notice that your habits start to change. So it's really nice. It's somewhat of an intense 7 days. It's really not that bad though, because sometimes when you hear cleanse, you think, okay, I'm not going to eat solid foods. Am I just going to be having liquids for 7 days? And that's not what it's like. So it's effective, yet it's doable. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it because I will be talking a lot about it in the next week or so on my regular Mama Recharged page. But it is in the morning, you can either do a juice or a smoothie. So if you have a juicer, it's great to do a juice. If you don't, most people do the smoothies in the morning. And then at lunch, we do either another smoothie or a pureed soup. So one of the biggest factors is we're getting tons of nourishment, tons of fruits and vegetables, but we're also giving our digestive system a break for half of the day or even more than that with having pureed foods. So your body's not doing all that work digesting. It's just easily absorbed. Those nutrients are easily absorbed. And then afternoon snack, you can have whole foods. You don't have to be drinking liquids as your food. You can have an actual snack. We've got a huge list of snacks. And then at supper time, we've got a list of supper recipes, which is foods. And it's primarily, for the most of it, it's vegan. And as you know, our meal plans include meat usually. But for these 7 days, just to give your digestive system a break and to get that detoxifying, cleansing effect happening, we're avoiding meat. I believe I have it the last 3 days. You can eat meat if you want to. I generally try to do no meat the whole entire time, but it's still effective if you just keep the meat out for the first few days. So anyways, I don't want to talk a whole lot about that, but as long as you're a member in the membership, you will have access at no extra cost. You'll have access to that cleanse now. And if you've got friends that were in the cleanse before and they're not in the membership, they can. How I'm going to set this up is that they can join the membership for a month not for free, but if they join the cleanse, they also get a 1 month in the membership at no extra cost, so they can try it out. They'll get to do the cleanse, but then they get the 3 extra weeks in the membership. I'm also looking at, I haven't decided for sure how this is going to work, but I'm looking at incorporating our 4-week program, the Mama Recharged Method, that we do every January. Often we'll do it in the spring as well. I'm looking at incorporating that into the membership as well. So that probably will come into the membership in November, December. I'll start adding content in there, and then we would run it, the method, the 4-week program, in January. So one perk to staying in the membership is that you joined at a lower price, or you might be at our regular price now, which is still a lower price, less than $1 a day. As we add in these different features, the price could increase. So that's one perk. You'll be able to get the method if we decide to add that, and you're going to get the cleanse and all that. And another thing I'm thinking about adding in, I'm wondering if this is going to be helpful or not. I'm trying to figure out what direction to go with this membership. To possibly do one wellness consult each month. So I would pick probably randomly one member each month, and we likely would do it via email. From my schooling, I've got a list of forms that helps me to really figure out what's going on in your body. So it's questionnaires that you would go through that I would send to you, you would email it back, and I would create sort of a protocol for you. And we would keep your name anonymous if we were to share that, but I would probably want to share that in the coaching call so that it could help everybody else. So that's another thing that I'm looking at. I've got quite a few things I'm adding in right now, so that might not be like right away that we're doing that, but I would love feedback on if any of this sounds like it would be really helpful. Let me know and I'll look more into adding that in. Okay. Another thing I want to mention is you'll notice in some meal plans, you know what, while I'm talking, I'm just going to look and see if this is working okay. I don't see anybody on live, but I'm thinking everybody is just busy. It's a Thursday morning, maybe you're at work, you're gonna catch this later, but I just want to make sure it's working okay, so I'm not just talking to myself. In a lot of the meal plans, you will notice that there is a page that has sort of the nutritional facts, the calorie count, the fat grams. So I've kept that in on some of them, just because it is kind of neat to get an idea of what that looks like. But I also, like, some of the days it shows up as 1,300 calories, 1,400 calories. So I don't want you to think that this is a calorie restrictive program. And those days, it's actually, the quantity should probably be increased. So when you're eating the foods that we have in the membership, in the meal plans, you can eat, it's hard to overeat. You know, it's hard to overeat on broccoli. It's easy to overeat on processed foods, but when you're eating whole foods, it's hard to overeat. So I want you to eat, like, if you need to have a double portion of something to feel full, then do that. So I don't want you to eat the exact portion sizes that they're saying, because everybody's body's different. Everybody's metabolism's different. Looks like it's working. So don't really focus on the calorie counts and everything and the portion sizes. Follow the meal plans, but if you feel like you need to eat a little bit more, you need to have an extra bowl of soup, then go ahead and do that. So I just wanted to mention that too. Okay. So I know some of the members, I'll go back to the bloating and gas that I was going to talk about. I know that there are some members that are dealing with some digestive issues, and it was something that I used to really deal with. And that was one of my reasons for being so fed up with how I felt. You know, I had so many different symptoms. If you've seen my posts about my story, I had so many different symptoms, but one of the big ones was I was just so sick of just being bloated and gassy. And usually I would be really good for, like, most of the day, I'd be fine. And then by the evening, I would just be so uncomfortable. And it's funny, I back then I probably never would have shared that. It seemed like such an embarrassing topic to talk about. But once I've studied nutrition and chatted with nutritionists and had consults and, you know, seen naturopaths, it's farts and poops and all that. It's just something that we talk about now. And also once you become a mom too, it's like, it's just something that you talk about. At least, I don't know, maybe I'm weird with that, but so yeah, I'll mention my story a little bit, that it was such a problem for me. And that's why I was like, okay, I need to, like, the doctors aren't doing anything. They're just saying everything's coming up normal. I had different tests done. They did, I think C. difficile, parasite tests, all that came back normal. And they're like, okay, yeah, you're good. But I just felt horrible. So that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to, like, cut out gluten, cut out dairy. I wanted to, like, eat cleaner because I was so sick of that. So when I cut out gluten and dairy, I didn't notice a huge difference. Like, I felt a whole lot better in so many different ways. And my skin got better, but I still had the issues with bloating and gas. And you guys might be some of you might be finding that as well. I know there's one of our members has gone through our method, and she's still struggling with some issues. Don't worry, I won't name names. But you know what? I bet a lot of people are dealing with that as well. So I wanted to provide a little bit more support in that. So I didn't feel a whole lot better with the bloating and gas part until I tried out the low FODMAP diet. So it sounds like a weird name. It's low, and then it's acronym FODMAP, and it is just different. What is it? I can't remember. It's a certain type of carbohydrates that ferment in the gut a lot more easily. So I had to cut those out, and there's a few different reasons why that helps for a lot of people. Different IBS issues. Maybe there's SIBO, which is small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. Often it's sort of an imbalance of gut bacteria, and often that's where all the stems is in your gut, the gut bacteria. So my next step was to do a low FODMAP diet, and within like the first few days, I noticed instant relief. So I've included in the Mum Recharge membership, you might have noticed I believe it's a 7-day low FODMAP diet. So if you are sort of feeling that way, what I'm describing, you're eating better, but you're still like the bloating gas, you just can't seem to that just isn't going away, then try out that meal plan that's in the membership. So I should probably change the name to like a bloating and gas diet, because usually people see it and not know what low FODMAP is, maybe. So try that out, and I'd love feedback if it really helps you. Then that also gives me clues as to what's going on, so I can help guide you further. So feel free to send me a message if you've noticed that's made a huge change. So I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk about some other ways that you can help reduce bloating and gas. I'm going to talk about some common causes. So probably take about 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to go over bloating and gas a little bit. If that's something you're struggling with, you'll want to pay attention, and hopefully there's some things that can help you out. So there can be a variety of different reasons and different causes. I'm going to name the most common causes, and then also the most common ways that we can help with that. So common causes are digestive issues, so a sluggish digestive system. So I'll talk about ways to improve your digestive system. Often those are either free or low-cost ways to do that. Another one, dehydration can factor into it a little bit, so make sure you're having enough water, not even water, but smoothies, soups, fruits that are water-packed, vegetables that are water-packed. That can all help. Constipation if you deal with constipation, if you don't go to the bathroom once a day, or more than that. So they say, I'm not sure how many people go 3 times a day, but they say that's supposed to be normal. So anywhere from 1 to 3 times a day is supposed to be normal. So if you're going every second day or more than that, or I mean less than that, then you've got some constipation issues. That can have to do with dehydration. It can also have to do with your gut bacteria. It can have to do with what you're eating. It can have to do with food intolerances. So constipation, if that's an issue, look further into that. SIBO, like I mentioned before, so that's small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, can cause problems with bloating and gas. Candida and parasites, so those are different. Candida is like a fungal overgrowth of bad bacteria, or I guess like a fungal infection, or parasites. And parasites are a lot more common, actually. The mainstream medical community seems to think that parasites are only in people in third world countries, but it's a problem everywhere. So they can be microscopic, like small that you can't even see them, or they can be the scary things that you might see on scrolling through, I don't know what you'd scroll through, but if you see on Dr. Oz or something when he talks about it. So it might even be just microscopic, but it's causing problems in your gut. So candida is the bad bacteria. We talk about that a little bit. So sugar, refined carbohydrates, if you're cutting those out, if you're following the Mum Recharge meal plans, that will help with that as well. If you do have a big candida issue, you can go dive deeper with some different supplements as well. Food allergies is another cause of bloating and gas. So those are the main ones. And then I'm going to talk about some things to add in, some things to do, and also some foods that you want to watch, some foods that you want to cut. So And again, I'm going through this really quick. If you've got issues with it, feel free to message me and talk more about it. And if you guys are struggling with it, there probably are other people, so I will do anonymous posts on like the Q&A on our page, just our membership page, to keep it private. So probiotics are one thing that you can add in if you've got bloating and gas, because generally it's a bacteria issue. So we want to get our gut bacteria in a better balance, the good to the bad, is just a generalized way of talking about it. So for example, candida overgrowth is so common. So if you are adding in probiotics, that will help to add in more good bacteria, and it'll sort of crowd out the bad. Along with that, with the bacteria, you want to cut out refined sugar, cut back on refined carbs as much as possible, and that will slowly help to adjust that bacteria balance. One thing too is that you might notice, so if you've done the 7-day cleanse, or if you just all of a sudden are eating a whole lot more fruits and vegetables, beans and things like that, even though you've cut out refined sugar or refined carbs, you might have a lot more bloating and gas, and your bacteria needs to take some time to sort of adjust. So you could slowly add those things in. If you're noticing you're adding that in and you've got some big problems, you can slow it down a little bit, but also know that generally it does start to, your body starts to adjust. Some different things that can help are different teas like ginger, dandelion, fennel. You can add those in, like a ginger tea after supper can help. And also, so we want to improve your digestion. So a couple things that can really help is just slowing down your eating and chewing well. This is easier said than done, especially when you have kids. I found for the first couple years, especially the first year when you've got little kids, a couple little kids at the dinner table, I found that I would just sit down for supper and I'm just like, I'm just stressed. Like, this kid needs this kid needs this one's whining about something. It's so hard to just like calm down and enjoy your supper. When you're stressed and you're eating, that energy in your body is going towards the stress, and it's taking away from the energy that's needed for the digestive tract. So that food is not going to be digested well. Also, you notice if you do have a really stressful event happen, you just have no appetite, and that's your body's way of saying like, okay, we cannot eat right now because we cannot handle that. We're busy with something else. So this is easier said than done, like I said, but if you can sort of focus on that, to try to calm down, just kind of be mindful of that when you're eating, especially a big meal like a big lunch or a big supper. Try to calm down a little bit, and that can help a bit. You want to chew well. So many of us, this goes along with also with having kids and just like trying to eat really quick because you're so busy at the supper table taking care of the kids. You're just kind of like shoveling down the food, which is something that I often did, and you're not chewing well. Even something as simple as chewing well can have a big difference. You want to, a couple other things with improving your digestion is digestive enzymes. So almost everyone can do really well with digestive enzymes. You can at least try it out. The only situation is if you've got a stomach ulcer, then you really don't want that. So if you have a stomach ulcer, you probably have some big symptoms. You probably know it. So most people would do well with digestive enzymes. So usually go to the health food store. The girls there, the people at the health food store are usually really good with recommending a certain type. So I would take that myself. I generally take that with supper, or if I'm having a big lunch. So you don't really need it with snacks or anything, but if you need that help with digesting a big meal, take some digestive enzymes beforehand. Another thing that can really help, and I've taken this before, I'm not taking it right now, I probably should get back to it. Actually, I maybe don't need it right now, but if you're dealing with bloating and gas, a hydrochloric acid supplement, so it's betaine HCl, so it's a hydrochloric acid. It sounds a little bit scary when I say hydrochloric acid, but it acts as a stomach acid. So so many of us, especially as you age, but even when I was 30, I did the hydrochloric acid test with my naturopath, and my stomach acid was so low. So that if your food is going into your stomach and you don't have enough acid in there to break it down, that's going to cause a lot of problems. So many people have got issues with that. So I think the studies are showing that if you're over 50, pretty much everybody does. But I'm thinking like, I was 30 and I had huge issues with it. I'm thinking there's a lot of people, if you've got bloating and gas, then that probably is a common problem. There's a few at-home tests you can do. There's one where you actually buy the hydrochloric acid supplements and you take, you start off with taking one with a meal and see if you notice any sort of like a warming sensation in your stomach. If you do notice that, then you're okay, you don't need it. But you can take up to 6. So I got up to 6. I would take 6 of these hydrochloric acid supplements before I ate. And I think it wasn't until I took 6 that I started to notice the slight warming sensation. So this is how you kind of know your dosage. So before you do that, before you go out and buy hydrochloric acid supplements, there's some different at-home tests. There's one, I think it's a baking soda test, and I'll post that. I'll post that in the membership. So baking soda test, you can see how your stomach acid is. And yeah, it's just, you can try it out at home and see if you need hydrochloric acid or not. If you suffer with heartburn, a lot of people think that you've got too much stomach acid. Generally, commonly, it's the opposite. So when you're eating something, how does this work? So yeah, again, I'm sleep deprived right now, so I'll see if I can figure this out. So if you've got enough stomach acid in your stomach, so there's sort of like a valve, and you eat something, and if you have enough stomach acid, that food hits your stomach, that stomach acid, I'm not sure if I'm describing this well, but that valve detects that stomach acid and it'll close. So if you don't have enough stomach acid, you eat your food and that valve doesn't know to close because it's not sensing that stomach acid coming up. So it stays open, and then that's when that heartburn, so that valve is still open, that's when that heartburn starts to happen. So digestive enzymes and hydrochloric acid can really help. Generally, you don't have to take those for life, especially the hydrochloric acid. I'll talk more about this in our digestive, if we do a digestive focus, but you can sort of wean off of it after a little while. So those are a few things that can really help. So things that you want to cut for food. So like I said, food allergies can often be a cause to bloating and gas. So you want to cut dairy. That can often be an issue. Sugar can be an issue. Artificial sweeteners. I think stevia seems to be okay. It's more of the like Splenda. Even xylitol, I think you have to watch with a lot of people. Gluten and refined carbs, you want to watch if you've got bloating and gas. Difficult to digest foods. You might have to cut down or avoid, or even maybe cook these foods for a little while if you're really suffering. Broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, onions, garlic. It's tough because these foods are so healthy. But if you are suffering with it, then you want to cut back on that. And then another big thing, like I said before, is the low FODMAP diet. So I'd be really interested to know if you're suffering, if you did the low FODMAP diet. Do it for 7 days. You might need to do it longer, but for myself, I noticed within just a couple days, like it was huge relief. So yeah, I'd love to know if you try that out and if it really helps, and then we can kind of go from there. So I'm kind of talking a little bit long. Hopefully you guys are watching this while you're doing something else, while you're cooking supper or something, because I know you're all busy as well. But I wanted to mention, so we like to do a monthly focus or monthly challenge. I had a couple different things that I really wanted to do. When I got thinking about the bloating and gas, I thought that should be our focus, especially if people are having issues with that. So I might actually just sort of like do a poll and ask, do you want more information on bloating and gas and like the digestive ebook for this month? Or another thing that I really wanted to talk about is waking up, some lifestyle things. So a big thing that has helped me in my life, and so this is a complete change from the bloating and gas topic. So a lifestyle thing that's really helped me. especially with little kids, is getting up early before the kids. So I was going to combine it with getting better sleep and better quality sleep, because I don't want you to get up earlier and be lacking sleep, because when you are not getting enough sleep, you're craving carbs, it's harder to eat healthy. So I don't want that at all. So I'd combine that with trying to get to bed a little bit earlier. I would give you some tips and tricks on how to fall asleep easier, how to have a better sleep. And then hopefully you can naturally get to the point where you are waking up earlier before the kids and you've got that time to yourself. And I'd go into detail on like how that can really help. If you're not really a morning person, if you're not somebody that normally gets up before your kids, you might not realize, or you might not think, okay, it's not that big of a deal, I just want to sleep in. For me, that was huge. When I started doing that was huge. So it would be sort of like a 21-day challenge to get up earlier. And I don't, like, maybe 2 days a week or 5 days a week, I would try to get up earlier before the kids. It just changes my mindset. I feel like I can actually, when you've got little kids, sometimes it feels like you are waking up with them and then you're going to bed at the same time as with them, and it feels like you just don't have a break at all. You don't have time to breathe. So it gives you that time to just breathe and time to yourself. And I find that it has such a ripple effect too on my healthy eating. I feel like I just have my stuff together. So I'm going to do a poll. Do you guys want me to put together a 21-day challenge on that and give you more information, more details on that with the better sleep and the getting up earlier and sort of what I do with my time when I get up earlier, how it's helped me? Or do you want me to focus this month on bloating and gas? I can show you the at-home tests. I can give you a digestion ebook. I can talk about my favorite supplements. I could probably even go into I'm at the health food store quite often doing demos, so I could probably go to the aisles and show you the different ones. So I'm going to probably either comment below in this post, or I'll do a poll, or do both, and we'll get that figured out, and we'll have that challenge to you or focus to you by next week. We have some new members that have done the $5 trial. I'm not sure, there might be one or two of you that are in this group. I think a lot of them aren't in our group, so they're just getting the emails. So I'll mention about that as well. So if you're in the $5 trial, at the end of your month, if you can cancel at the end, just send me a reply and let me know, and I'll cancel that. But if you choose to go forward, you have two options, and also anybody in the membership has these two options. Just do nothing and you get there's auto withdrawal of our regular priced, or you can join if you feel like you want to be in the membership for a few months, take advantage of the cleanse, and then also our 4-week method that's coming up in January, probably earlier than that, you'll have the resources. Then you can join on for a year. Right now it's at $120 for the year, so it's $10 a month. That price will likely go up, especially once I add in the method. But if you are in it now, if you join now, then you will stick with that price. So I wanted to mention that as well. So yeah, we've had quite a few people join in this past month, but a lot of them aren't in the Facebook group, but they'll still see this in the email as well, hopefully. Also, you might be missing some of the emails. If you're seeing this here, but you're not getting the emails, check your junk mail. Often they'll go to junk mail. Even my own emails go to junk mail. So I'm not really sure how to change that, but mark it as safe. Even you can hit reply on it, and then you're more likely to see my emails too. So I think I chatted for quite a while. I've got my little guys at preschool this morning, so I'm going to get our meal plan ready to go for tomorrow morning. I'm also going to be doing, probably in the next couple weeks, so I'll be adding on the 7-day cleanse resources. I'm going to update that a little bit, and I'm going to be doing a whole new batch of meal plans for us in the membership. So I think I said before, if you have any recipes, if you have any certain likes, dislikes that you want more of or less of, let me know. This next week, I think there's one fish recipe. I know a lot of people don't love fish. I like to keep it in there because it's so it's so good for so many of us. But I myself, I often would rather just have chicken than fish. So some of those recipes you can easily just swap in. If it says, I think this one's like a white fish, you can swap in a chicken breast in there instead. So customize it as you like. Also, it's some of the plans are 5 days, some of them are 7 days. I personally find the 7-day plan, sometimes it's too many. I like to do leftovers, so it's too many different meals. Feel free to like take out 1 or 2 recipes, make it easier on yourself and just eat leftovers, or have 1 or 2 nights as free nights that you just make something easy, or that you just throw together whatever's left in your fridge. That's often what I do. Like yesterday, I really felt like making a chili with that snow falling, so that was one of my free nights. So I did chili, and I'm probably gonna have it for leftovers again tonight. So I think that's about it. Yeah, let me know. I love feedback on, like, I want to make some changes in this membership. I've got so many different ideas, so I'd love the feedback if you've got any ideas for me. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your week and a good weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.